So first of all, let's try to understand how are these three related, right? So artificial intelligence is actually born, in a sense, it was born in 1950s, right? It is something which is, people think that machine learning is very new or artificial intelligence is very new, but then it has started in 1950s. Since then, artificial intelligence is existing, right? So where does it start? Now to understand before that, so artificial intelligence is the superset, and then machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, meaning the techniques or the things that are used in that whole space of artificial intelligence, or what are the uh, answers to the questions raised in the artificial intelligence. Some of them are dealt very prominently using machine learning, which are the most difficult. And within machine learning, deep learning is even more subset of machine learning. So there is a lot of machine learning that can be done, but deep learning is one particular way of machine learning. So it is born in 1950s. So the question that came up uh, in that time, so this is a question that has come up to the scientists in those days, is whether computers could be made to think. That was the question, and we are still exploring the ramifications, right, to this very question. So the whole point was, there are a lot of tasks that are being performed by human beings. Like for example, we can read, we can understand a sentence, we can reply to a question, we can do a task. Like for example, if I want to if I'm given a mathematical equation, let's say, that I can say it's correct equation or wrong equation, or those kind of things, right? So there are multiple things which are intellectual in nature, meaning which requires some intelligence from the human being to solve those, right? So this is an effort that started saying that, can we automate these intellectual tasks which are normally performed by human beings? Let's say, for example, I see a cat, I say it's a cat. That is also, it requires intelligence, right? You have the intelligence of understanding the difference between a cat and a dog. So can we automate these kind of intellectual tasks? This is what the question started with. So then from 1950s to 1980s, right, AI was prominent and mostly known as symbolic AI. That is the field within AI which is mostly prominent. So what that means is, people were creating programs, meaning they were automating the tasks. Yes, true. The effort is being done to automate tasks, but the way how they are doing it is just that whatever intelligence they have, they are putting it into a program. They are crafting some rules, right? So the guys who have some intelligence and no programming language, they are trying to convert their intelligence into a programming language. They are hard-coded rules. They're crafting the rules into a program, and they are creating a program which will look like as if it has some intelligence, but actually the intelligence is being given by a human being. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. It doesn't have intelligence of its own. It's not natural, because it is being given by a human being into that program. That's why it is called artificial intelligence. So any program that can act intellectually, right, based on some intelligence coded or programmed by a human being, is called artificial intelligence, right? So we can take the example of a early chess program. Now chess programs have changed, but earlier chess programs used to be simply a bunch of rules, right? If you have a chess board, some combination on the board, and based on that combination, you have some rules which have been prioritized, which are the best rules to play in that particular scenario, right? And based on the move that opponent gives, you are in another position, and based on that, you have some hard-coded rules based on which you will make the next. This is how the chess program was, right? And that's why people were able to beat, right? So these days, chess programs have gone to a different level, which are very difficult to beat. So now these are suitable. These kind of symbolic AI methodology is suitable to solve well-defined logical problems. Meaning, first of all, chess problem is well defined. You know what is the output. You know you want to win. You know there are only possible moves are very standard, right? And there are the amount of moves that has to be considered is a finite set. It can't be too much, right? It's a finite set. It may be large, still finite. So, and it's logical in nature. So this kind of methodology is suitable for solving well-defined logical problems, but it is not solving complex fuzzy problems. Like for example, a human being can classify image, can look at image and say this is this image, this is a house, this is a animal, this is cat, this is dog, right? But this cannot be logically programmed, saying that write a program using my intelligence which can identify as good as a human can identify, right? Not possible, not at least possible through this symbolic programming. Next is speech recognition, right? These are the different complex and fuzzy problems or language translation. There are so many languages and language translations. These all require some grammatical methodologies and a lot of words that are used. So all these have different complexities and fuzzy problems. So these were not, we are not able to solve these using artificial intelligence through the symbolic AI. So that's when in 1980s, right? That's when people started looking at. To explain this much better, we'll see the uh, difference between classical programming and machine learning programming. So in the classical programming or artificial intelligence or programming, any programming, right? What we do is we have a set of rules, or we call it as an algorithm, which is properly coded, compiled, and then there is data. We crunch the data based on these rules, we process the data based on these rules, and then we give an output or answer the question. We have data and we have a set rules through which the answer comes. I'm assuming for those who have done some programming, they will understand this. Who have no programming knowledge, this might be a little difficult. But still, if you try to understand that, if I have to, even let's take calculator, not even computer program, right? Let's take a simple example of a calculator, right? So not even calculator, let's take a simple a fifth class student solving a square root problem, right? Let's say I have to find square root of, let's say, 625. So we have a methodology that has been given, root of 625, how to calculate the square root of 625, right? So let's say I have a way to do that, right? So that is, I'm saying, is kind of a rule. So now I have been given 625 and I have some rules how to calculate the square root, right? Can I get to the answer as 25? This is classical programming. If I'm using computer to do that, that's a different story. But basically the whole paradigm is that you have the rules, you know the formula, you know the method, right? You have the data and you come up with the answer. Now machine learning, there is a huge paradigm shift. The shift is that I have the data and I have answers, meaning I know, let's say that root of 625 is 25, root of 25 is 5, and let's say root of something, lot of roots I know, and I have given a something new number completely. Can I find a square root of that? Is the question. Meaning, I know the data and the answers. Meaning, I know root of 625 is 25, root of 25 is 5, so on and so forth. Can machine now learn that and derive the rules out of it? Basically, the machine learning is now supposed to create the rules out of it. And once the rules are there, then I can, like in classical programming, any new data, I can use the rules and give the answers, right? So can machine learning find out the rules by looking at the data and answers? That's the question. If you have understood this, then machine learning seems pretty straightforward in terms of what a machine learning can do. To give you much more simpler example, let's say, how do we learn in our childhood? In our childhood, we are shown a book to start with. They show us an image and say this is apple, right? This is banana, this is pomegranate, this is monkey, this is donkey, right? So we are shown some images and we have been told that this is this word, this is this word. So what does our mind do? Our mind creates a map or a rule saying that if, because I have to now compare between these two, I have to have some distinction. So mind has created these features we call it as feature set in our mind has got created, which says agar pooch hai, if there is a tail, then it's monkey. If it has horns and it's white in and four legs, cow. If it's short size, four legs, and it is shouting bow bow, dog, let's say, right? If it's doing meow meow, cat. So there are some rules when we observe these animals, or when we are taught about these animals through visualization or through hearing, we have created some rules in our mind. Our brain has created some rules. So next time when we see an animal, we can invoke these rules and say that, okay, this fits this particular set of rules. So that means the answer is this. So this is how our brain runs. We are being first shown the data and the answers, and in our mind, our brain creates these rules, right? So this is the same paradigm. The question has been asked that can machine learning learn in the same way like a human brain does? Although we have understood how human brain learns, we don't have actual idea, or there is no proof of actually how the brain network is working. We have some some understanding of how the brain is working. We can actually, we process the brain, we can actually think of how it's working, but we don't have any proof saying that this is how the wiring is happening in the brain. That is still under research, right? So makes sense, and pretty much very valid